Guys, in this video, I'm gonna be installing a DIY cable railing system from Muzata. I'm excited to get started and show you guys how simple it is for an average day DIYer. All right, let's get started.
Muzata offers a multitude of DIY rail systems. After just a couple days,
That was quick.
it was already in our backyard. Combine that with the free and easy design service, this allowed me to be confident that this system fit my application perfectly.
So this is how you can really tell that this is made for DIYers, that this company actually sends you the tools that you're gonna need to do the job. So these are industrial cutting tools, specifically for the wire. They're 8-inch, Muzata branded, but it's just a really cool touch to make sure you have everything you need. Got this cool case here. Yep, this is our Muzata branded crimping tool. I imagine for once we get that wire together, we'll be able to crimp those edges. There's our wire spool here. Nice, very high quality, it appears. Nice, neat, exactly how I would expect it to come to me. Great job. Looks like now we're getting into the hardware. This is a hack that I utilize for some projects. Grab the top of one of your storage totes and you can use this to either partition or compartmentalize your individual hardware. So you could do this on the back side and then you actually have raised edges, or use the back side, keep it all together, but it's not gonna fall off.
Before you get started,
Make sure you check your parts list.
because Muzata makes this pretty simple. By including your bill of materials, labels in every box, and clear plans provided with each project, you can make sure you have everything you need before getting started. Printing all this out was one of my first steps, and I'd highly recommend that to you as well.
So one of the things before starting a project like this that can really slow you down is not having the tools that you need for the job. So I went ahead and put this kind of tool tray together so that way I wouldn't constantly be stopping for the things that I need. So right here we have a variable speed drill with a 1/4 inch bit, so that way we can do the 3 through holes for the brackets. We've got our Phillips head, we have a level for our individual posts, we had hardware for the posts that we're going to be installing, the instructions, an additional impact drill to screw in the lags, pencil to mark the holes, chalk line to do the edges, a few counterweights, and plan layout so we can see where everything goes. Do something like this, keep moving your tools from spot to spot to spot, have everything you need, don't drop anything. It's gonna make stuff like this go so much faster. So in one of these post rails, you can see here, comes with all of your hardware. So you got your lag screws, you got your screws to tap it to the railing, you got your Allen keys for the tensioners, and it even comes with this socket.
So the plans that Muzata provides makes the rail installations pretty intuitive. You just measure your distances, pre-drill, and install the plates.
I think I hit like a screw or one of the joist hanger nails and it freaking snapped.
Also, grabbing a spare quarter bit is probably a good idea.
All right, well, looks like I got those 3 on. Now for about 15 more.
Once I had the method down, things moved pretty quickly. For the stair posts, they had these little washers that had to be tapped and set into place. I'd be lying if I said that they didn't give me just a little trouble. They didn't seem to stay put once set, but I didn't let that stop me. I continued to work my way down the long side of the deck until I ran into my first major issue. Now, I tried to mark and do everything according to the directions, but I just couldn't figure out why my corner bracket wasn't aligning correctly. Until I discovered something pretty important that I'm pretty sure you'd want to know as well.
So unfortunately, I got a bit of a situation here. So I don't know if maybe my corner isn't square enough, or maybe the way these brackets stack up aren't perfectly 90 degrees, but essentially what happened is that when I tried to install this bracket to both sides, it ended up trying to pull so much tension that it stripped out my screws, at least where the wood is and the studs, and it bent this bolt. The only way to get it off is to cut it. I'm gonna try to swap the brackets from one side to the other. I'm not 100% sure that's gonna work. I just figured out something very, very important here. I don't see anything in the instructions stating this. If you were to actually measure this bracket, you would find that on one side, the overall width is about 56, as the other side's overall width is about 47, 48. So these brackets are not interchangeable. There is one clear side that has to go to the outer bracket. And if you don't put this on correctly, you're gonna have a very hard time putting this thing on. Finally, after all that, got it installed.
Now with that little issue behind us, I quickly checked the plans, finished marking the last remaining sections. That's when I realized in just a short time, I will have finished all the posts and would soon be ready to install the railings.
Well guys, this is taking a little bit longer than I wanted, but I'm excited that I got all the posts installed, including the ones on the stairs, and I did finally figure out that corner post situation. So it looks like tomorrow we're gonna be installing the rails and the wire and hopefully get this thing completed. So see you tomorrow.
I started bright and early on the railings the next day. I first laid out all of my pieces and then focused on where I'd have to cut. Starting with the 45-degree miter, I went ahead and knocked that out so I could verify the pieces fit nice and flush. Next, I focused on the brackets that secured the rails to the posts. I made sure to mark the bracket holes while the rail was installed and remove them again so they could be pre-drilled for the self-tappers. Adding an alignment mark to the brackets helped me prevent losing the bracket positions during the back and forth. This did make things a lot faster. The rails seemed to overlap perfectly with the post layout. With bracket inserts joining both the straight pieces and corners for added stability, be sure to add the vinyl seam covers prior to connecting your segments. These really help with the overall clean and modern look of the system. For the stair rails, Muzata provided an adjustable connector similar to the ones used to connect the segments and corners. Now, I forgot to record installing the post rail supports, but it was a pretty simple process with just one screw. With only 2 more rails to go, I was now almost complete and ready to start installing the wire.
So it looks like all we have left for completing our rail system is to install the wiring and hardware. These rails are the ones that have the custom LED channel routed out from Muzata that allow for these light installation. So let's go ahead and get started with that.
I picked up this waterproof monster lighting from Walmart. It's like $50 for 100 foot and it seemed pretty durable and small enough to run through all the channels. Everything went pretty smooth with the exception of the corner. No matter what trick I tried, I ended up having to take the rail apart and fishing it through. I suggest if your system's like mine, to run this lighting before final installation of the rails and save yourself some headache.
So I plan to pull these lights all the way to the edge, and I do plan on cutting them probably here. Now, Monster does say that if you cut these lights, it first of all doesn't recommend it. 2, you're going to lose some of the water resistance or all of the water resistance, and to make sure that you cap these because it will void the warranty if you do cut these lights. All right, so I'm trying to desperately understand this before I get started because obviously once you start cutting wire, it's not going to come back. And I guess based on my understanding so far, so the goal is for us to take this wire and pass it through starting at the center hole. So as you're passing this wire through, you go ahead and start putting on your washers, your bushings, your sleeves, so that way you only have to do this stringing process once. As you get to the end, that's when you can go ahead, crimp on your swedge, so that way you can stick it into the slot and then pull it tight. As you work your way backwards to the initial post, that's when you're gonna go ahead and cut your line. So when you cut your line at that point A, as it says in the directions, you're gonna go ahead and measure 1 3/8 from that cut and go ahead and cut it again at point B. At that point, then you're gonna go ahead and crimp on your swedge on that end, install it to the rail, and then that's how you're going to tighten it to apply your tension. Hopefully I got that right, and you won't see a different story here shortly. So there we have it. We have all of these wires installed now, and all that's left is for us to go ahead and start tightening them up. So I have these washers that are kind of just hanging out for now, and not until we actually tighten those tensioners on the backside do I want to put those washers in place. So that way they're not going to move or shift, I guess, during that process. Now all that's left is to go ahead and do the long side and the short side and the angled rails, and we'll have a completed deck. Guys, it is 8 o'clock and I am tired. I have got this thing probably 95% of the way finished. And the next time you see it, it's gonna be complete. Well guys, that is the entire process for installing this Muzata DIY rail kit. And I will tell you overall, this thing is sleek, it's modern, and I would say it's way easier to install than I initially gave it credit for. Anytime you have a large, big, open, and functional yard like this, you wanna be able to see kids swimming. You don't wanna have all that wood and those picketing that are blocking your view of your kids. And something like this is perfect for that. If you're thinking about doing the Muzata DIY rail system, I would 100% recommend it. Use my referral link Dale for 6% off your order, and check out the link in the description. Until next time, Dale does it all. See you guys later.